Right friends, welcome back to lecture for week number 43. This is from 19th to 25th October. Let us look at the highlights. Pakistan Prime Minister's visit to United States of America, how India perceived it. We are going to discuss in detail. Second thing is PM lays foundation stone for Amravati, new capital city of Andhra Pradesh. We are going to analyze what are the opportunities and what are the challenges. Japan offers soft loan for India's first bullet train project that is going to come up between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, and Japan offered at interest rate of less than 1%. If you look at the events around the world, growing economic clout of China making some of the Western countries nearer to it. Recent visit of Xi Jinping to United Kingdom is one example. Justin Trudeau became the Canadian Prime Minister, and RBI announced gold monetization scheme guidelines basically to reduce imports. World Polio Day was celebrated on October 24, and let us look at the events one by one. The first and the foremost event is recently the Pakistan Prime Minister visited United States of America, and we are going to discuss in detail about how India perceives the visit of Nawaz Sharif to United States of America. So when he visited United States of America, they issued a joint statement. In the joint statement, it was stated that USA advised for sustained and resilient Indo-Pak dialogue. That is first point. Second point is United States of America declined to play a direct role. Third important point is not many economic deals, but USA agreed to supply 8 F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan Air Force. Right? We are going to discuss how India views the joint statement and how India views the visit of the Prime Minister. And before that, Nawaz Sharif complained against India on 3 counts. India is responsible. The first point which Nawaz Sharif stated to United States of America is India is responsible for cancellation of foreign secretary level talks on flimsy grounds. Second point is India is responsible for cancelling the National Security Advisor level talks. Third point is increased ceasefire violations across the line of control. Pakistan Prime Minister blamed India for increased ceasefire violations. That means India is responsible for firing across the border. All of you are well aware, India always blames Pakistan, but the Pakistan Prime Minister blamed our country for firing across the border, right? And how India perceives. India can cheer about certain things. The things which India will be happy is Pakistan committed to take effective action against United Nations designated terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Toiba. United Nations declared certain organizations as terrorist organizations. Lashkar-e-Toiba or LET is one among them, and now Pakistan committed that they will take action against Lashkar-e-Toiba. That is good news for India. Second important point is even after Pakistan asking United States of America to interfere in the dialogue between India and Pakistan, United States of America declined to interfere. That means they are sticking to the stand that this Pakistan and India should discuss bilaterally the Kashmir issue. That means no third party mediation, and only India and Pakistan should settle the issue bilaterally. Now United States of America continues to commit to that stand. That is good news for India. Third is United States of America declined to acknowledge alleged Indian interference in certain regions of Pakistan. Pakistan complained to United States of America that India is interfering in certain regions of Pakistan, but United States of America declined to acknowledge the alleged India's interference as claimed by Pakistan. Fourth important point is no major business deals except 8 number of F-16s. So these 4 are the points which India can cheer about, but what are the concerns for India? The joint statement stated that India and Pakistan should continue sustained dialogue or sustained and resilient dialogue. What is the meaning of sustained and resilient dialogue? Here it is very difficult to interpret it because of the reason most of the times India is complaining to United States of America and United Nations that Pakistan is resorting to crossfire and Pakistan should dismantle terror outfits in their country. Pakistan is aiding and abetting terrorists. That is the India's stand, and when America says that India and Pakistan both should continue sustained dialogue, it's very difficult to interpret. It keeps India and Pakistan on same footing as far as terror outfits are concerned. Second important point is United States of America's appreciation for Pakistan's anti-terror operations. India on the ground feels that Pakistan is not taking much action and most of the terrorists are infiltrating to India through Pakistan. Pakistan is aiding and abetting terrorists, but United States of America's praise for Pakistan for controlling terrorism is not understandable to India. Third important point is, in spite of the escalation of tensions between India and Pakistan, America agreed to supply 8 fighter jets to Pakistan. This is also not palatable to India. And fourth one is terming terrorism as mutual concern between India and Pakistan. America wants to play safe by keeping India and Pakistan on the same level. On same footing, it is keeping India and Pakistan as far as terrorism is concerned, and India always complains that Pakistan is responsible for terrorism. Fifth one is United States of America's commitment of arranging finance for 4,500 megawatt Dimer Basha Dam project. This Dimer Basha Dam project is situated in Gilgit-Baltistan region, that is POK region, and previously World Bank and Asian Development Bank backed out of the project, asking for no clearance certificate from India. But under these circumstances, United States of America claim that it will help Pakistan for financing this project is not understandable to India. Right friends, let us come back to the event, that is Prime Minister lays foundation stone for Amravati, the new capital city of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh is not a new state. Telangana is the new 29th state, but in state reorganization, the capital for erstwhile Andhra Pradesh state or undivided Andhra Pradesh state, that is Hyderabad, has gone to Telangana, and now it is the responsibility of Andhra Pradesh to find a new capital, and the state government has zeroed in on a place near Vijayawada named Amravati, and Amravati, good olden days, Dharani Kota near Amravati was the capital of Satavahana kings around 2000 to 2300 years ago, and now the new capital city is coming up around 15 kilometers from Vijayawada. The name given is Amravati. It is coming up towards the southern bank of river Krishna, and the Prime Minister has laid the foundation stone on Dasara Day, that is on October 22nd. And this place is centrally located in Andhra Pradesh, equidistant from Srikakulam and Anantapur. And if you look at the Amravati in a nutshell, the seat capital area is 17 square kilometers, and the total capital city will come up in 217 square kilometers, that is around 53,000 acres, and extendable to 374 square kilometers, that is ultimately the area of capital city will be 90,000 acres, and the total CRDA region, that means capital region, is designated as 8,352 square kilometers, and longest outer ring road probably in the country will come up with a length of 186 kilometers, and ultimately the population by 2050 in the CRDA region will be 1.35 crore, and out of which 56 lakhs will get employment. This is the magnanimity as projected by the Andhra Pradesh government. And let us look at what are the expectations, what are the challenges. If you look at the expectations, it is the first green and blue capital. The government says that the capital city will be crisscrossed by canals, waterfronts, and Krishna river is there. If you look at both the sides, it will have waterfront of 34 kilometers, 17 kilometers and 17 kilometers. In the first phase, it will come up towards the southern bank of Krishna. Ultimately, the northern bank will also be used in future for developing the riverfront. So, 34 kilometers of riverfront will be there, and it will have canals crisscrossing the city, water bodies crisscrossing the city. That's why it is called a blue city, and a lot of greenery will come up, that is blue and green city. It is people's capital because of the reason 33,000 acres of land was pulled from the farmers without much protest, and city will come up with world class infrastructure and 21st century first livable and environmental city. It is tipped to be gateway to the southeastern region of the world, right? These are the expectations, but what are the challenges? The biggest challenge is to evolve viable model of development through PPP. It is not that easy to develop a city through PPP which will be acceptable to the people across the city, because once the entire city is developed on PPP model, it will become rich man's capital, not the poor man's capital. So, the biggest worry is when the city is developed through PPP, ultimately what will happen? It will become rich man's city. That is the biggest worry. Second thing is livelihood for agricultural laborers. Several families are dependent for their daily wages, and what will happen to these agricultural laborers? That is the biggest question mark. And the third important aspect is arranging finances from center or state may be definitely difficult. If at all available, that may be mega sum. Ultimately, this is to be developed on PPP model. So, because of user charges, because of service charges, when the city is developed with PPP model, then poor man may find it difficult to stay in the city because of high user charges and service charges. Another important aspect is it may give rise to regional imbalances in the state. One side it is the poor Rayalaseema region, and other side north coastal part including Vijayanagaram and Srikakulam districts. So, it may give rise to regional imbalances. Anyhow, Andhra Pradesh is planning capital city on mega scale, and let us hope a livable city to come up on the east coast of the country, right? Japan offers a soft loan for India's first bullet train project. India so far has not have any bullet train project. The maximum speed of the conventional railway system, what we are running at present, is probably 150 or 160 kilometers per hour. That is only between Delhi and Agra. Delhi-Agra is around 200 kilometers length, has got the topmost speed in Indian railways, that is probably around 150 or 160. So, that is the maximum permissible speed anywhere in the conventional railway system of Indian railways. Now, the bullet train is tipped to come up between Mumbai and Ahmedabad in the first phase. Japan has done the survey, feasibility study has been completed, and now Japan government's arm, that is Japan government's arm, which is basically entrusted with developmental projects abroad, that is Japan International Cooperation Agency, recently came up with a proposal that it is ready to finance $15 billion. $15 billion is roughly around 1 lakh crores of rupees. The cost of building this bullet train project is around 1 lakh crores or $15 billion, and this is 505 kilometers length. At present, the running time is 7 hours between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, and in future, once the bullet train comes up, the running time will be less than 2 hours. And JICA came forward with financial assistance with less than 1% interest. And the second point is, it is ready to finance 80% of the total project cost. And the precondition is 30% of equipment is to be sourced from Japan. Right? If government agrees, then JICA or Japan International Cooperation Agency is likely to come up with the first bullet train project between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Please don't forget, Delhi to Chennai bullet train project feasibility study is being done by China. Right? Look at the next issue around the world. Growing economic relations between UK and China. And see the difference around 2-3 years ago when the British Prime Minister David Cameron met Dalai Lama, the relations between China and UK strained a lot. Now Xi Jinping of China visited United Kingdom, and see these 3 points. Growing economic clout of China is evident from these 3 points. First and the foremost is 30 billion pounds of trade and investment agreements were signed between China and United Kingdom, which include opening up the sensitive nuclear power plant for Chinese investors. Chinese investors will invest. That means Chinese investment will come up in the sensitive nuclear power plant of United Kingdom, and total 30 billion pounds of investment was committed by China when its president visited United Kingdom. Second important point is, United Kingdom invited China to make the city of London world's renminbi trading center. Third important point is, for the first time, China will issue renminbi denominated sovereign bonds from outside China. Right? These 3 points are clearly evident that economics will dictate 21st century logistics in the world. Right? So look at the next issue. Justin Trudeau became the Canadian Prime Minister. He belongs to Liberal Party, second youngest Prime Minister, 43-year-old. His father was Pierre Trudeau, and who considered to be the father of modern Canada. His party got 184 seats out of 338 seats, and he will be the second youngest Prime Minister. He belongs to Liberal Party, and his promises include the cut in income taxes, more infrastructure spending, taking more Syrian refugees. 3-time Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who belonged to Conservative Party, lost the elections when he contested for the 4th time. Right? His party is Conservative Party. So please don't forget, Justin Trudeau became the new Prime Minister of Canada, and his party is Liberal Party. Right? So decisively, Canadians voted for a real change. From the election voting pattern, it is clearly evident. Right friends, look into the next issue. This is a gold monetization scheme. What is the purpose of gold monetization scheme? Finally, RBI issued guidelines with regard to gold monetization scheme. I would like to tell few things about what is the meaning of gold monetization scheme. Indians hold tons of gold as jewelry, bars, coins, and they are keeping in the lockers or in their homes. But every year, the demand for gold is met through imports because we are producing insignificant quantity of gold, or totally almost entire quantity is imported, and lot of foreign exchange we are paying for imports. And to avoid that means to reduce current account deficit, India came up with this program, gold monetization scheme. The purpose of this gold monetization scheme is bars, coins, jewelry available with Indian households has to come out, and that will be surrendered to banks, and banks will give a certificate, and after the agreed period you can take back gold or money, and if the gold cost increases, then that will be borne by the bank. That means bringing gold out of the households and using it for making jewelry and other purposes, so as to prevent the import of gold, so as to reduce current account deficit. That is the main purpose of gold monetization scheme. Friends, the guidelines were released by the Reserve Bank of India. Minimum raw gold prescribed is 30 grams. That means minimum gold under this scheme is 30 grams. Fineness is 99.5%, or you can say 995 fineness, and maximum no limit. Gold will be accepted at the collection centers. Government is going to give guidelines with regard to the collection centers. These collection centers are called collection and the purity testing centers. And shortly government will give the guidelines pertaining to these collection centers, and banks will accept the gold. And other important aspects are KYC will be applied as usual. Banks are free to determine the interest rates. Banks are also free to determine what is the minimum lock-in period and how much penalty if somebody wants to encash it before the agreed period. All the scheduled commercial banks can accept this gold under monetization scheme, but excluding regional rural banks, right? So these are the guidelines, and most important aspect is there are two types of gold deposits. Under this gold monetization scheme, there are two types of surrendering the gold. One is the short-term bank deposit, or STBD. It is for 1 to 3 years duration. In this case, banks will accept on their own account, and after accepting this gold, banks will give you a certificate. After the agreed period, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you can redeem that certificate either in rupee terms or gold, right? So if you are surrendering gold, you can get back the value after the agreed period depending on the prevailing gold rate, or you can get back gold also after the agreed period along with interest, right? So this short-term bank deposit is exclusively taken by bank on their own. That means banks will accept 1 to 3 years of deposits as their deposits. And the second category is medium and long-term government deposit. In the first case, it is mentioned as bank deposit. In the second case, it is mentioned as government deposit. That means the short term is for bank, medium and long term is for government. So banks will accept on behalf of central government. This medium and long-term government deposit is accepted by banks on behalf of central government, and here medium term is 5 to 7 years and long term is 12 to 15 years, and this gold will be auctioned by MMTC. But here for medium and long term deposit, you can redeem the equivalent value after the agreed period, but you will not get gold. You will get back the value in rupee terms depending on the value of the gold as well as interest, right? These two are different categories. This short-term bank deposit is held by the bank itself. Medium and long-term government deposit is held by banks on behalf of central government, right? So these are the regulations for this gold monetization scheme. Let us look at the last event of this week. World Polio Day was observed on October 24. Right? October 24 coincides with the establishment of United Nations. Please don't forget. Right? This polio. If you look at the statistics of polio, please look into this at a glance. In the year 1988, there were 350,000 cases across the world, and they reduced to 51 cases globally in 2015, just 51 cases. And if you look at the countries, only 2 countries, our neighboring Pakistan and Afghanistan. These 2 countries, because of poor vaccination, because of several other civil disturbances, proper vaccination is not being done. That's why children are being suffered only in 2 countries across the world as on date because of polio, that is Pakistan and Afghanistan. The reported 51 cases across the world are in 2 countries only. Right? India recorded its last polio case on 13th January 2011. And please don't forget, if there is no polio case reported for 3 years, the country will be declared as polio free. If there is no polio case for 3 years, the country will be declared as polio free. And if there is no polio case for 1 year, that will be declared as a polio endemic free country. And as the last case was reported in 2011 by India, India was declared polio free in 2014. And the last case was reported in Nigeria in 2014, and after 1 year it was declared as endemic free. And now the reported cases are only in 2 countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. The aim is to make the world polio free by the year 2018. Right? And postal stamp was released with the message India Polio Free by Rajeshri Birla of Rotary International. So India completed 4 years without polio. Let us hope the world to be free of polio, and let us make Pakistan and Afghanistan also polio free. Right? With this, let us conclude 43rd week lecture part. Please do join for news analysis and features. We are going to discuss 70 years of United Nations and Kaladan project this week. Have a nice day. Thank you.